So God dreams these huge and amazing dreams in us, and we pull back, or discount it, or disbelieve it, or tremble and shake, or struggle because we're wounded, because we're afraid, and we're more wounded than we are whole still. Even though most of us here in this room, if not all of us, know Yeshua, the healer, you know. I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm a native. I'm waiting for deliverance from Los Angeles. It hasn't come, but I'm waiting. And I grew up the first few years of my life in the Fairfax district in Los Angeles, which is predominantly Jewish. And yes, it is. Amen. And my mom would put on these fairy tale plays in the summertime, and every child on the block would have a part. I mean, we did the whole thing. We did the sets and the costumes and the lights, you know, in the backyard and the whole bit. There was a really tall guy. He was our token giant. And my little brother was the dwarf or elf, as we had need. And my older sister was the evil queen or a wicked witch, you know. I rather enjoyed that, you know, personally. And I was the princess. I was the princess. And I loved that. We had, you know, after we did our little show, you know, which all the adults had to come to because their children had been drafted into the play. It was a very good deal, you know. And then we had these orange creamsicles. They were amazing. I loved them. And, you know, we all have moments like that, moments that are tender and sweet and amazing. And for us, then we moved. And we moved to a different part of Los Angeles. And before I had a chance to put down some roots and find some friends and connect to my classmates, something else happened in my life that marked me forever. I was walking down the street, and neighbor had his dog out, a German Shepherd. And I bent down to pet the dog, and he ripped open my face from the corner of my eye to the corner of my mouth. And it took 100 stitches to sew my face back together again. My face was never the same, and I was never the same. About a month after the dog bit me, I went back to school, and my classmates gave me a new name. They called me Scarface. And they called me Scarface every day as much as I can remember for the next 3 years of my life. And there came a point where I looked in the mirror and I heard with my ears and I believed in my heart that this indeed must be who I really am. And I became a Scarface. I knew the language of a Scarface. I spoke it very fluently. I wore the clothes of a Scarface. I donned the attitude of a Scarface. I became very good at pushing people away from me because that was my element of control to keep from being hurt again. I know those of us who have been hurt that way understand what I'm saying. And I unknowingly, unwittingly wounded people with the wound that I had because I was so consumed by the wound, so blinded, so twisted, so wrapped around the wound that I couldn't see I was hurting people who wanted to show kindness to me, wanted to help me. I couldn't, in fact, see very well at all. I made choices out of being a Scarface long after I forgot the name, and the name was buried in my teenage years. I made choices out of that name and out of that belief that scarred me more than anybody else hurt me. And I was 27 when I came to the Lord. And I came to him as a Scarface, understanding that he forgave my sins, but not understanding that he had come into my life to take me out of the ashes and bring me into the beauty. And so for years and years, I struggled with how I saw myself and how the Lord said he saw me. And some of us struggle still, do we not? In the deep whispers of our hearts, there are words that were said about us and things that we accepted that the Lord never spoke, that are lies that bind us and keep us from the fullness of the dreams that God has for us. And so much is tied up in how we believe what he says about who we are, and whether we defer to those lies and give space to the words that others have said that are not in keeping with what God says. Nobody ever told you you're beautiful. A simple, solitary, shining star. So when the world held up its mirror, you gladly bought the lie. That beauty's how you look, not who you are. You studied all your lines and got the part down, but you could never win your own applause. Hey, don't you know by now you're a diamond in my sight, and my love will see you the flaws. When the world has you believing all its superficial lies, let me be your eyes. In your heart the scars run tough and tender from all the inner battles you've been through. So when you look to your reflection and it's hard for you to see, then baby, count on me to look for you. When the world has you believing all its superficial lies, let me be your eyes. I'm gonna paint a picture you can't believe. I'm gonna teach you how to see that the truest mirror of all is found in the eyes of love. So when the world has you believing all its superficial lies, let me be your eyes. Let me be me be your eyes.